everybody. It's your boy Ron, the one-third portion of the Monday Council. Let me get my stuff pulled up. Right there. Boom. Yeah, right there. So we typically stream every other Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then wherever else you are at in the world, as long as we're live. You're catching us. You're watching us. As always, thank you guys for your support. Thank you guys for showing up. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and enjoy the show. Share if you want to, and if you need to, go for it. Share it because, again, we wouldn't be here without you guys, right? So, how is everyone doing? It's been a while. It's been a minute. Like, things have been crazy, to say the least. Things have been super crazy, to say the least. Like, I'll go on my end and whatnot because why not? So, your boy last week, um, your boy messed around and caught COVID again for like, I don't know how many times it's been now since I've caught COVID, but yeah, caught COVID. And it reminded me a lot of the first time that I caught COVID. Um, what did I have? I had, I had, I had. I'm trying to think, because it was last week. I know it should be ashamed. So I had body pains. I had body pains. I had. I wouldn't call them hot flashes, but that's what it kind of felt like, hot flashes. And so basically, like my body was just getting hot and cold. And even then, like at one point in time, um, I thought I messed around and had a fever that spiked and then went away. Then body chills. There we go. Also had body chills. I had body chills, and so that hit me hard like Thursday, and I was just locked up in my room, sleeping the whole day away. Slept the whole day Thursday. I probably got up, walked around maybe a little bit, went to the bathroom, tried to get something to eat, but other than that, I was done. Finito, out of here, sayonara, all of that. I was all of that. I was gone. I was out of here. So that was Thursday. Friday, woke up and I was just still in a world of pain. And I'm like, I'm glad I took Friday off because there was no way I was gonna go into work. I was just very much lethargic. Still was dealing with. Oh, I forgot too. I was dealing with a runny nose, sneezing, stuffy nose, coughing. So like all the typical stuff. So all the typical stuff. That's the dogs. They're letting me know somebody's at the front door. So all the typical stuff that you would think that would come with a summer cold and or allergies. Yep, I had it. And even still now to this day, I'm still dealing with a lot of the runny nose. I'm still dealing with a lot of the stuffy nose. Still, when I'm blowing my nose, it's very kind of thick and boogery. Say, I like the better words, but it's all good. And again, Friday really wasn't doing the world's greatest. Wasn't doing hot at all. So that was Friday. Saturday, it felt 1,000 times better. I was moving around a little bit more. I was able to kind of get out. Still was testing positive for COVID. And I was just like, man, this sucks. Like I haven't felt this bad since the first time I got COVID. And so again, still Saturday, taking it easy. Stayed in the room. Really didn't do a whole lot, and really was just taking this time to actually like get myself together, you know. And so during that time, again, still dealing with the runny nose, still sneezing, still dealing with the stuffy nose. The body aches were slowly going away. And even then, like I found myself like doing a lot more stretching. I found myself working out again, just kind of just doing stuff to kind of keep my body active. On what's the day? What's the day? Saturday. I'm losing my days, y'all. Bear with me. Yo, Rocky, what up? Oh, and you're first. And you're first. So just telling, I was just sharing. I don't know how much you heard so far, but I was just really saying, your boy got hit with COVID last week. Last week Thursday, your boy got hit with COVID. So just chronicling my journey, chronicling. I don't even know what's chronicling. There we go. Chronicling my journey from last week Thursday up until now. And so Sunday felt better, wore a mask, went to church, wore a mask, pretty much had very limited contact with a lot of people, even though I wasn't showing any of the symptoms, but I was still telling people like, hey, I just got over COVID. I'm still testing positive in some cases, but I got my mask on and, just limited distances, like limited interaction with other people. And yeah, man, yeah, it was rough. I'm not gonna kid y'all, not. It was rough. It was rough. But like I tell people now, because when they ask me, like, yeah, I feel better now than what I did last week Thursday. But like, I'm still dealing with the runny nose. I'm still dealing with the stuffy nose. I'm still dealing with like an off and on cough. It doesn't happen too often, but you know how sometimes in the back of your throat you get like that thick mucus that just sits there, and when you go to cough it up just to kind of get it out of your system. Still dealing with that. Um, so I'm still dealing with a lot of the long term after effects of COVID, and like I told my boss too, like I told her on Monday, I'm like, Monday I'll probably end up wearing a mask, and then we'll see from there. And so today she kind of joked around with me because I started sneezing and whatnot. She's like, do you need to get that mask back on? I'm like, you know what? I might because like I'm when I tell people like I'm over COVID, I am so over COVID, it is not even funny. I'm just over it. It's annoying to say the least. It is very much annoying, and it could burn. It could go to the bottomless pits of the lake of fire where it belongs, and it can burn for eternity. And I'm okay with that. I'm definitely okay with that. So did that. Um, Again, still dealing with a lot of the after effects of it. So I know it's going to be around my system for a little bit longer, but it doesn't help. Like the past 2 days here in Michigan, it's been hot. And when I mean hot, it's been like humidly hot. Like the heat index was at 104 last week. No, yesterday actually. I'm sorry, 104 yesterday. Canceled football practice, and then today the heat index was still, I'll say, 104, 105. And even though we had a thunderstorm that rolled in to kind of cool everything off, soon after the thunderstorm went away, it just shot right back up again. Like I said, nothing happened. So I do know we're supposed to be getting some more thunderstorms rolling in the area. What time? I have no idea. But with the heat index going yo-yoing, it's not good. But tomorrow it's supposed to be like 88 degrees. So that's fine. That's normal. Especially for this time of year in Michigan, that's normal. But I think it was like last week I was reading an article. For the article, they were saying that for my region, and especially for my area, for like the next few days, the weather was going to feel unseasonably warmer than normal, which I do believe. I do believe. Because even right about now, we'll probably get like a week of temperatures like high, mid to high 80s, maybe creeping to the low 90s, but nothing like where we had to cancel recess today just because it was going to be too hot. And even then, yesterday, as we were watching the temperature just kind of slowly creeping up, we were still talking about like, hey, do we want to call it? Play it safe to keep the kids inside. What principal's like, well, we're gonna try it today, like, but as soon as it breaks that threshold, we're bringing everybody in. So like that's fair. That's fair. So yesterday we were able to go outside. Today, like, nah. I'm like, listen, like I would have been okay sitting them outside, but we have no shade whatsoever on the playground. It's an open field, and we're asking for people to pretty much overheat, get dehydrated, and heaven forbid pass out. Like, nah, I'm not doing that. Not with these kids. No, not even. So indoor recess it was. Like I said, tomorrow it's going to be cooler than what it has been, which thankfully kids get to go outside and go play. And even then, we got a short week today. We got a short week as it is, anyways. So we got tomorrow, Thursday, and then we're off Friday, Monday. We'll come back next week, Tuesday, to the same old chaos at school all over. So that's my spill. That's my spill. How about for you guys? For those who are watching, for those who are tuning in, I will drop this in the chat. How are you guys doing? Doing all right. All right, El, I see you. I see you. In more ways than none, I see you. I see you. So, speaking of, speaking of, oh, nice. Hold on. Hold on. Let me do this. Okay, that's one. And then number two. Now, this right here, this is when, like, of course, when you know you're at that level where it's like, yeah, we're dating, but then again, I'm starting to meet parents and whatnot. That's when that line goes from here to kind of, it's more like a small roller coaster climb up. And whatever happens after that, either you're going to nosedive into a free fall, going into a corkscrew or a loopy loop, or, you know, whatever happens, happens. If it falls off the track, it falls off the track. Whatever. Just make sure you have a parachute. Save your life. Yeah, Rocky. Yeah. Yeah. I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. And so, as we're talking about Meet the Parents, and one of my great comedy movies, Meet the Fockers. Yes, love that movie. Hilarious. I gotta introduce to some, and a pleasure and an honor to introduce to the many who have not been. So this person coming to the stage, I wouldn't even say call him coming to the stage, just more so just coming to the virtual round table. There we go. To virtual round table, if you would. This is she. She is phenomenal in her own right. Okay? She is again one of my best friends, and I can honestly say that without a shadow of a doubt. Honestly, one of my best friends. And it just, you know, again, having a chance to meet her in person was phenomenal. Would love to hang out sometime in the near distant future. Would love to. Just again, she's just a really cool person, really fun, really. I can say outgoing. I can say outgoing. I'm gonna say outgoing. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm gonna throw my 2 cents in the pot, and I'm gonna say she's outgoing. She's outgoing and loves to have fun. Loves to have fun, and I think that's probably the reason why I'm like, you know what? I can hang out with you a lot more, even though we live in two different states, but still, we can hang out a lot more. That's fine. That's cool. I would love that. I would love that. So, what else can I say about this young woman that I haven't not said for the last past, I don't know, 3, 4 years now, maybe 5, 6 years. I don't know. I lost count after year two. Okay, I lost count after year two. But anyway, I'm not gonna delay the process. I'm not going to delay the introductions anymore. You guys love her. I love her. We all love her. Let's give up a warm round of applause to the one, to the only. L. Let me get that one. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Do the do the Donald Trump like jerking off two people dance.
Don't do that one.
I know, like that's the weirdest of dances.
That's the worst.
I know.
But it fits, I guess.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I mean, double fist it if you can, but you know, yeah.
Anyways, hey everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, y'all.
Bless you.
Like, when you said that I was outgoing, like it kind of made me start to think like, what? Like, how would you define outgoing? Like, I would agree, but I'm like, I feel like there's a difference between outgoing and just like somebody who goes out.
Well, if you're asking me how I would define outgoing,
Yeah, how would you define outgoing?
I'm the type of person where if I know I have nothing else to do, and if all the bills are paid, and I still have, I don't know, maybe $50 left over, I'm going out. Whether it's bowling, to the movies, to the gun range, or just going out and walking downtown,
Mm-hmm.
which is not far from my house.
Oh, nice.
Cool. Yeah. Like you literally walk downtown in like about 5, 10 minutes.
Oh, that's
And,
really
and
good.
just, yeah. And even then, not even do anything downtown, but just again just walk around just because I can and then walk back home. Why not?
Hey, Faye.
Hey Faye,
It was good to see you.
good to see you.
Yeah. Thanks for stopping by.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my version of outgoing.
Okay. I guess like when I think of outgoing, I always thought of it as like somebody who is like extroverted, um,
Mhm.
who I guess like goes to parties, goes to like adventures. I mean, I guess it depends on
Mhm.
how you define an adventure, because even like what you described to me, I honestly like just going out can lead to just going outside can just lead to an adventure.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, like I would say I'm pretty outgoing. Like my friends, I have a lot of introverted friends, and they all
Mm.
say that I'm extroverted. Like,
I can see that.
I don't know. I
I can
guess
see that.
Like from how introverts describe introversion, like they could stay in the house for 3 weeks straight and be like fine. Like they would be like okay with that. Like I would not be okay with that. Eh,
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, like it's like really didn't leave the house like at all. Maybe like to go to the gym. That's like it. That's like the extent of their
Hmm.
outings. Like I would no, I need to go like somewhere, whether it's like to just I don't know, like a restaurant.
Hmm.
Um I don't know, just somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess I am extroverted, which I guess equate to being outgoing. So yeah. Like I couldn't stay like 2 weeks in a home, like at home. Hey Mish!
Yeesh.
Hey, good to see
Yeesh.
you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I joined I went on Misha's stream like in the
Nice.
comments on Twitch. It was a lot of fun.
Woohoo.
Um they're a good group of people. They're really fun. They're really energetic.
Yes. Love me.
Yes. I mean,
Ooh.
Misha's easy to love. So.
Yes.
Or when I'm writing, it would eat that. Really? You write a lot, Rocky? What do you usually write? Like I know you're in the film. Do you write film? You thought you could escape
Never.
me by flying to another platform.
Never. Never. Never, Mish. Never. We would
Yeah.
never do such a thing. Us? No.
No. How dare you? How dare you
Maybe the
even
other people. Maybe the other people in the back, but us, no.
Yeah. I mean us two that are on the stream, no.
Mm-mm.
No.
That's criminal.
You're right.
But no. Oh, speaking of, what game were they playing?
Mish was doing math.
What?
Yeah.
Math on stream, and I missed it.
Yeah. Like I couldn't even begin to tell you how to even describe the math. I guess it's calculus, I think.
Ooh, okay.
I think it was calculus, but like I don't know, Misha was trying to like do something like solve something that was like a cube, I think. But it wasn't geometry. I don't think it was trig either. Like I really do think it was calc. I just don't I like I okay, yeah, I was right. Yeah, calc on applications of derivatives. Okay.
Yikes.
Mm.
I think that's a class I fell asleep on in high school. So, whoops. I know. But I still managed to pass. Don't ask how that happened, but yeah.
Yeah, also Mish has like some really good salt. Like the like Celtic salt.
Uh huh.
Like that's some good stuff. Like I didn't
Told you.
I was like, damn. I'm so curious. I want to know what that salt tastes like. Cause I love Himalayan pink salt.
Uh huh.
Um but I want to know like what's like the next level of salt. Like what's the
Yes.
like I've heard great things about Celtic salt, so I have literally no time to write. That's why I would soak that inspiration like damn. I time to remember how to work. Yeah. Do you ever do like talk it into your phone like on a recorder whenever the inspiration strikes you? That's something I need to do. I am so bad at that. I usually try to write it down, have a notebook like everywhere so I can write it down.
Right.
I don't sleep with my phone in the room.
Hmm.
Okay, I've stopped doing that. I don't know for how long now. I don't think it's been a year. It could be. I'm not sure. But I like it. Because it just kind of gives me pause, and I don't have to, you know. Well, my phone is also on do not disturb anyway, from like 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. Sunday night through Thursday night. So even if somebody like notifications and apps were messaging me, like I wouldn't even know. But it's even nice like on Friday nights I don't really have to like hear it or listen out to it. It's far away enough that I don't have to hear it. Audio notes are the best, and speech to text as well. Has your sleep improved since you started doing that? It has. It has definitely improved. That's why I started doing that. Um, I don't know if like my like there are times when like I'm literally like laying in my bed looking at my phone, and then like I go into the living room and just like throw the phone onto the couch and then go back. And then I usually try to read a book, like a physical book. That's fiction. I've tried reading nonfiction before bed. I'm not a fan. It's like it depends on the nonfiction. Like when it's like a nonfiction book that's serious like about race, then it's like I can't read this before bed. But reading like just like a fiction book, like a romance rom com sort of thing, just it's nice. It just takes your mind off of like literally everything, because from like looking at social media for so long and like texting people, messaging apps of all sorts, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I need something to just kind of like unwind my brain, or wind down my brain rather, so I could just like really relax. The Dead Tree books before bed.
Mhm.
I'm reading Depth, the first 5,000 years by David Graeber. Okay. The
Nice.
first 5,000 years. Dang. What was the second 5,000 years like? No, but jeez. That's insane. Like, the people since the dawn of time have been like, hey, yeah, you owe me that. Don't forget.
Right.
I'm gonna go knock on your cave door.
Man, that's gonna be wild. That's wild. Walk up
Mhm.
somebody, knock them out with a tree branch, check in the
Club.
club.
I wonder if they
Ooh,
had like clubs back then, because they would have had, because it's not like clubs just grew on trees. I mean, like they grew from trees, but they didn't like they weren't like in like the perfect like club shape. I'd assume. I don't know. I wasn't there back then. I don't know how tree branches were shaped because he sees my biology perspective like it. Okay, I dig that. I dig that a lot.
mhm.
Like anthropology, just like the evolution of money and debt and everything, and trade and bartering and things like that. Remember, Faye, like when you were on here before, you were talking about how like people would have like, I think it was like credits or something, or some sort of like, I don't know if it was like a point system or something, but like I think they had to take, it was like a way to show that like if you go to like a neighboring tribe that they don't know you, it's like, hey, I am like good on my word because I have like this amount of credits. Correct me if I'm wrong. Um, I'm gonna take out a 5,000 year mortgage after the first 85 years. It's the next problem.
Oh
um,
man.
for example, whether we all owe society some participation or whether the government owes a debt to us when it promises us life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So,
Okay.
yeah, kind of like I want to say it was John F. Kennedy when he said, "Don't ask what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And in a way that, like, Andrew Yang kind of in a way like flipped that with the freedom dividend, because saying like this is like what the government pretty much owes us, which I agree.
Mhm.
I think about UBI quite often. Is that as a bad check? Give it to them. Oh yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Kind of in a way goes with our topic for tonight.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes. And
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because I do know that he nice,
Yeah.
nice. Thank you. Well, the the person. Well, we got some inspiration. Let's be honest. We got some inspiration from a fellow member, and this young man suggested, "Hey, there's a guy talking about Black Beauty, and what's your thoughts on it? Could be used for a good future show." I've watched it, and since then I've been watching a lot more as far as the content that this person put out. And so it was like, okay, coming at it from a different perspective, from a different point of view, and more so breaking everything down as far as how and why, in a nutshell, it really is a scam. It's really um, a big giant money pit that's aimed towards black and brown people in particularly, because for whatever reason society says that our skin color isn't quote unquote beautiful, for whatever the case may
Mhm.
be, which I think is totally bonkers. But then again, when I was watching the video and I was thinking back to my childhood days, especially growing up, like I got a lot of very negative comments, like saying, "Oh, you're ugly," or "You don't like this person," or just really really mean stuff that over the years it did have a big effect on me and an outlook, not only just what I had on myself, but an outlook towards life in general. And it was really just one of those things where, like, yeah, gotta talk about it. Gotta talk about it. So, want to say this much. Shout out to you, Rocky, because you're the one who suggested this topic for tonight. So, kudos to you, sir. And the it's for both. Oh, it's for both. It's for both. It's
Mhm.
for both. It's for both. It's for both. The how I'll just take my state for example. Like we live in Michigan and whatnot. Like it's it's easier. Oh my gosh. L, look who
Mhm.
just showed up.
Hey.
Yes.
Yes. Been a long
Yes.
time.
Yes. Good to see you, love. Good
Yes.
to see you. Yes. Yes. So again, circling back, um it's hard to find like decent um skincare regimens for men, especially for like black men. It's really hard because it's really not sold everywhere. It's not. And even then, like, even if I wanted to get like a decent skincare regimen or a decent type of face cleansers and this and the third, like I would have to travel. And I know for me, what works for my skin, believe it or not, is like the Bath and Body Works product line, especially the men's section. That works phenomenal, phenomenal. However, I just don't have like 20, $30 to drop on a lot of the products that they have at any point in given time. I just don't have it. I don't. Would it be nice? Absolutely. Would it be nice? I mean, don't get me wrong. Has there been times where I caught like their buy two get one free sales? Yes, absolutely. Yes, yes. But at the same time, like outside of that, oh my goodness. Yeah, but and again, that's the crazy thing about it. Like because of the fact I know, especially with my face, I've growing up, I've always had a bad time dealing with acne and just so um, fluorescence. Not really. Like, don't get me wrong, I like flowers, but there's just some scents that are too strong for me, or that I think are too strong for me. I'm more so. I found myself more so in the the fresh kind of musk category, but even then, like the musk, it can't be too strong. So totally weird, totally weird. But I will say this much: Jared, I don't have any beach. I don't have one. That's the thing. I don't have one. I don't. I don't. I don't have none whatsoever. The only thing I use is some good old soap and water and scrub really, 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 really hard. Other than that,
Mm.
that's it. And maybe some lotion. Other than that, mm-mm. but but I have found myself like staying away from a lot of fried foods, a lot of processed foods. I've been doing really, really good on candy, really good. So I'm proud of myself on that. So limited my candy, limited my sweets. I think the only one thing that I'm probably trading in is my soda. Drinking Fago right now. Oh well.
Mm.
But other than that, that's really it. That's really it. What about for you, El?
For facial skincare routine, um, I used to be really religious about skincare during the pandemic because for like the first time in my entire life, I broke out.
Mm,
I never had acne. Um, like everyone, like all of my siblings and my mom were like, "You have like perfect skin. You have great skin." That was my case in like my whole life. So like I never really got into skincare. I just used whatever soap was in the house and whatever lotion was in the house. And I was just rocking with that for many years. And then COVID happened. Could have been from the stress. I broke out. I remember like especially like over my forehead. And around that time, one of my friends from college, who's a commercial airline pilot for Delta, he came out with a skincare like yeah, like I guess like a skincare line, and I bought it because I was just desperate. It's good. I highly recommend it. But I was just like, this is insanity. I need
Mhm.
to. He broke out when doing his skincare routine. Yeah, like it was just like insanity with the with the zits and everything. Something that I'm just like not used to.
Mhm.
So I did that. I used his for like a couple of weeks, and it was working. Like I had like um I don't know if I highlighted Misha's comment here, but it was kind of like that in a way. Like I got like the exfoliate, I had like this face wash, I had like the like the face moisturizer, and then like he eventually came out with like some other things. And he also he's always had like the chapstick. I actually use it. If I don't know if it'll ever like I don't know. It doesn't really have autofocus, but I'll share a link to the brand. Um, but I always get like the lip balm, and he also like they also had like these like they had like hydraulic acid, like I think it was acid, like hydraulic oil, rose oil. I used like I put like so much like product on my face because I was just like really enjoying it because I really liked like what was going on. But then like I eventually stopped because it was getting annoying trying to pay like buy these things and like you know it kind of like shipped out. I wouldn't say like it just shipped out whenever it shipped out, but it just like I'd run out of one thing and then I'd be like, damn, I ran out of this thing. Now I have to go and purchase it, or like it's about to run out. It was just like getting really, really inconsistent. Thank you. It is quite hard for us, but somebody has to do it. But yeah, so I was doing that, and what I liked about it was that it was this was a skincare line from a man, a black man, um, like a black Jamaican man. So like it was just cool to see that since he's an airline pilot, he would go to a lot of different places with like different environments, different humidities, different things that could really just affect your skin, and you start to break out, and it starts to get very like it's your face.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like you want to make sure that your face looks good, like at the barest of minimums. And having like a bunch of like zits or pimples, or like like if it's like oily or greasy or just like uneven like skin tones, like it could make you feel like a little it can make you feel self-conscious. I don't know. Ashy lotion. Yep.
Yes. Oh man.
I
Oh
remember
man.
there was a Bill Burr joke who, his black friends, or like I think it was like I don't know if it was black friends or like the black woman that he was dating. I think eventually married. It could be the same woman. I'm not sure, but um, he was wondering why like she was like putting lotion all over her body, and she goes like, yeah, because if I don't, like my skin's dry. If I don't, I'll get ashy. And he was like, what's ashy? What's this? And she explained it to him, and she was like, "Oh, I don't get." She was like, "Yeah, you do." And then like she took a nail, like dragged it against the skin, and like it got, and like it was showing the dryness of his skin, the ashiness. And it was funny because like he thought like in the winter why he would get so itchy was just because like the towels were dirty. So he always like cleaned the bath towels thinking that was the answer. I was like, no, it's because his skin was dry as hell. Or because I'm not so melanated. I'm thinking about going like I've been hearing about it like lately, and I don't know if it's just like the social medias talking to me, but about wearing sunscreen every day. And I'm wondering if like I should do that. Like it's just like that's just because I'm like, well, I use lotion every day. What if I just replace it with sunscreen? But I don't know. It's hard to find like a good sunscreen that doesn't leave like that whiteness, which is called like a white cast, I think. I bought this one sunscreen recently called Black Girl sunscreen, and it doesn't leave that white cast. But it's not like I didn't. It's not that much sunscreen. Like I don't want to use that every day, like everywhere that my skin is showing, like every day, because then it's just gonna run out in like 3 days.
Mm.
That's what I was thinking too,
Mhm,
because
mhm.
yeah, like I've thought of that too. Um, I hear that. I mean, this was like from a podcast. I don't know how true this is, but like if you go out into the sun, like right when like this, like right during like sunrise and I think sunset, it's like the rays of the sun are like pretty much the ones that are good for you, and it's not as damaging to your skin. I don't know how true that was. It was like UVB rays or something. Like a ripe tomato. 95% of podcasts are white gas.
Yes, puns are welcome. Puns are intended.
I know.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And I feel like, yeah, I've been like, it's been getting really, really aggravating. Like, no offense, white people, but like, like, I really, or at least I used to really enjoy this one podcast called Diary of a CEO, with like Stephen Bartlett from the UK, and it was like interesting, and it was pretty like down to earth, and it's definitely more like centered to men, which is fine. Um, it just seems like it's more so centered to like white men, and it's just kind of like sometimes you get like these white guy hosts, not hosts, but these white guy guests who are like a bit controversial or quite controversial, especially lately. And I'm like, you really can't put on like black women. I feel like whenever they put on like a black man, he's like an athlete, or I don't know. It's like, are there no like black business owners? There's like maybe a couple who come on who are like, I remember there was like this one like dating coach or this love guy. Marathon in Houston is over 100 degrees too much. Is it like 45? Yeah, no, in South Florida, it's 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 like in the 90s, but it's so in South Florida it's been like in the 90s, but like for a while it just sort of felt like over 100 degrees for a while. Like this heat is disgusting. Yeah, I don't blame you, Gil. Like Diary of a CEO was good, but now it's just getting kind of like, sometimes he brings on like the same person, and like sometimes the person is pretty cool. Like I like Simon Sinek. Like I usually like those episodes, but I'm like, you're out here saying like you're bringing on like the greatest minds, and it's like, oh, they're all white men. Okay. Yes, thank you. For those of you who don't know, the Agreeable Gray Area podcast is my podcast. Um, I am always trying to get better at recording episodes. I would I am trying to record another episode before the end of the month because I want to at least release 2 in August because I sort of made a promise. Well, I didn't really. I don't know. Like I was on a live. Well, I was watching one of Gil's live streams. Gil's been going live a lot lately, interviewing different people, different other content creators. And one of the content creators he was interviewing, I asked a question about might have been consistency, and she was suggesting like if your goal is to maybe produce a podcast once a week, like try to look at like what can you realistically do, or what's still pretty good and consistent, like maybe twice a month. I was like, I could do twice a month. I need to just do it. Like sometimes I feel like I'm just getting distracted by like creating a podcast space and getting all this equipment and stuff and things like that. And even though I did need furniture in my second bedroom, that wasn't a lie. It's just it's like, all right, now it's time to actually do the things. My sunscreen is, what did everyone do? Yeah, I think about that stuff all the time. Like maybe the sun wasn't as bad because they probably didn't have as bad of like with global warming and like the ozone layer and things like that. I mean, the ozone layer, we're doing really well with that because we've stopped producing a lot of those things. But that could be it. Like it just wasn't as hot. But that didn't stop people from getting skin cancer, of course. I mean, cancer has been around since like the dawn of time, so we're not unfortunately going to get rid of that. I was telling myself my sleep. I got up 3 in the morning. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
What else? The two have a 30-minute limit on sunshine. I mean, honestly, 30 minutes is kind of like all you need, for like your skin tone, for your guys' skin tone. For like Ron and I, we probably would need a little bit more. But then again, it's like, who is measuring this? And if farm workers are in big trouble at this level. Oh, absolutely. And the fact that like Florida passed a law saying that like outdoor workers aren't obligated to like take breaks. Like they're not. Yeah, it's freaking ridiculous. Like they don't have to take breaks, or like it's like, well, why are you trying to kill your outdoor workers? Like what the hell?
Exactly.
It's like, no, they need breaks. They need water. They need shade. They need. Oh god.
Food, so they don't pass out. Well, oh my gosh.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, Texas. I don't know which is worse, honestly, Texas or Florida. I feel like they're just competing to just be the absolute worst state. But do you know what can turn this into the best state that we can currently exist in? And by state, I mean state of being, not state of the places that we're living. So,
I got you.
Yeah. So, coming to the stage, this person will put you in a state of equilibrium while he puts himself in a state of equilibrium. This man is, I would say, is the definition of outgoing for sure. Like
Yes.
he is what you
Yes.
think of outgoing when you think of outgoing. Like the first time you ever heard the word outgoing is like, oh, someone who goes to parties all the time. That's what you think of. This man will take your girl, go to her house, which is your house, eat your entire fridge, and and she'll say it was you. She'll say that you were sleepwalking and you just ate your ate your entire home. And you would believe it because this man will give this girl such a believable script that you would think Rocky wrote it. So, without further ado,
Yes.
let's bring on the beautiful, wonderful Toby.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. So much appreciated. And I'm glad I could make it here because today was, there was things happening, but I'm here and I love you all. I'm so glad to be on here. Starting with the sentiment. Yes. And I was actually like listening from backstage for probably the last 30 minutes or so. So,
Yeah.
All right, come on. It's all good though. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. We got one more Black Beauty. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was Pay It Forward, one of Gil's, I'm trying to remember if I've seen them in the chat. If it was like one of those other businesses, like Extreme Madness, or this is not even related.
I didn't see Extreme Madness.
No, I'm saying it's Pay It Forward, like one of those. Because I remember sometimes I was.
Oh no, Pay It Forward is Little Faith, Fake You from.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, from the Discord.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, I'm scrolling up. See, I like StreamYard because it does let you. I'm so used to eCams where it doesn't. I think Restream had the same problem, but sometimes like you couldn't see past when you first joined. You probably can now because you have the master control. But when we came on, we could only see the comments up from when we joined.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Came back. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I guess it never really mattered 100%, but it's not too big of a deal. It's just I have to get used to it again. So StreamYard Master.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You didn't know. Yeah, this was Polar Nights.
Yeah.
I do remember Polar Nights. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Because yeah. Usually that makes sense with the time zone and everything. I'm trying to remember if Polar Nights was all the way in
Norway,
Scandinavia, or if that was
I think it's Norway.
Norway.
Yeah.
That's what's up. No, yeah, definitely appreciate you on that time zone difference. Yeah, beauty. Things. It's been cool. I'm catching up a little bit. I'm looking at things. I love the puns. Mish, glad you're here. Oh my goodness, so funny.
Yeah.
What was that? White Cast. Oh my god, how have I never heard that before? I feel like I must have seen it somewhere, especially in 2020. But like, that is top tier, sir. Okay, so hey, yes, the whole council.
Yeah.
I can't type this early in the morning. That's crazy. No, you really are sticking it out for us. Okay. Beauty. Wow, I was just at the conference this past weekend. It was in DC, so I mean it was local, but I feel like I didn't really recover until today. Like yesterday, I was very out of it. Woke up early because I did have like meetings in the morning at 11:30, but I still feel like I was in and out of sleep. And then the whole day I was just like I don't know, feeling really groggy, and it wasn't just from drinking a bunch on the weekend. I didn't feel hungover, but I just felt like kind of and I was like, what am I really doing? So, um, that's more like an internal, like overall, just trying to, I don't know, feel a little bit more. Well, the conference was good, and the reason why I mentioned it was because of beauty. People looked great. It was more professional, but there were
Okay.
like galas and and there was like a white brunch, an all white brunch cruise. Um, hey, hold on. If this was August, end of August, what anime convention were you at, Mish? Because I know PAX, or PAX East, that's in March or late February even. I know you did not come here to DC because I was gonna say Otakon, but Otakon happened a few weeks ago. Now I'm trying to think of what happens around this time of the year. Dragon Con, but I think that's later. It's like
That's
Labor Day.
September. That's actually probably this weekend because it's usually Labor Day.
Yeah, yeah. So I love my wife. Forgive me. Oh no. Okay, you're married. Yes, you probably did mention that before. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, for me, I don't drink much on the week, but because there were so many mixers and just things for the conference, and sometimes free drink tickets or other things that were recommended, open bars that weren't open but you still paid, and that was just what you're doing. So I feel like I drank actually quite a bit between. I don't think I really drank much Wednesday night, but Thursday there was like a happy hour that I wasn't technically a part of the like the executive board, but I'm in like an engineering org based out of DC, or the DC chapter. And because the conference for the org was for working professionals, our DC professional chapter hosted. Regardless, I went to that mixer, had a great time, went all night. There was drinks to be had. And that was fine. I think Friday, I don't know what day, but I feel like there was definitely a day where I did more than I needed to do in terms of drinking. Probably Saturday because I started early on a cruise and I was wearing my all white. I felt like I was good, but I kind of felt like, I don't know, I haven't groomed myself as well as I want to. So even though beauty, a lot of times, I mean, granted, beauty does usually get talked about as like what you like when it comes to your skin, your hair, even like grooming your nails. Yes, of course, what you wear, but that kind of goes more to style and fashion sometimes. Though these words do kind of blend. Like style is very broad. That kind of includes everything. Fashion is more clothes, and beauty. I mean, I know the definition has probably been like already like, hey, what do people think is beautiful?
No, we actually haven't really talked about it much because we kind of started talking about how expensive it is to like keep up. Like I never even got to like hair, which is
Woo,
yeah.
yes.
Like when I thought about the keep up, I thought it was one of the first things I thought of when I saw the title. When it was like suggested, I was like, okay, yeah, most likely you're gonna be thinking of hair care, just because that's such a huge. I mean, I do hear about like the nails and like the girls got to get the nails, but honestly, it's hair. I guess it's everything. It depends on what you need to maintain. If you don't need to maintain the hair as much, obviously that cost goes down, but then you might put more on other things. If you don't wear a lot of makeup, okay, you still have skincare. So yeah, it is actually kind of diverse now that I think about it. Like,
Thank you. Hey, I try.
I approve that message.
Oh, that's too. Oh, you know what? I do remember these kind of hype. Yes, go ahead. You better guess us. Don't gas us up. I'm gonna borrow Toby's phrase next time. I did more than I needed to. I don't think I was like ever like fully hungover on any given day. I think that happened to me a different weekend. And which is probably not great because it's like I really wasn't drinking a lot, and I feel like maybe it's just the events I'm going to now where it's like, okay, the incentive of the drink is a little bit more. Now I was in DC for like I had like a hotel for Saturday and Sunday, so I didn't have to worry about driving back after. But it still was kind of like, okay, this is interesting. This is a good thing I don't live in DC or like right in the city because I'd be going to all these bars all the time. And actually a reason I didn't go today. There was a concert happening, and I was like, I don't want to miss this episode. I just didn't want to miss the whole day. But then I also found out the concert was expensive, which I was already talking about with Elle. Well, she mentioned how it was in her area, but for me, I looked and I was like, oh yeah, that's not looking great, and it's not the worst, but I was just like, yeah, we're not doing this tonight. So anyway, you can make choices that will make you maybe less beautiful, because apparently alcohol does not gel well with your skin if you're always drinking it, depending on what you're drinking. And then obviously you have like things like you're just dehydrated. You might have more like sagging skin, but I don't know. I mean, I've been okay, and I think my metabolism and just whatever, like things seem to bounce back. I haven't had any lasting damage that I know of, hopefully internally or externally. Game call. Hey, I'm so
That
dead.
might be true. You never know. That might be true.
I do have a few.
Dang.
Oh, that's so funny. Literally bombshell L. Because I was like, wow, they're just mentioning just calling you bombshell. Like, okay, yeah. Like
Yeah.
I was looking in the comments and I was like, was this like something that started in one of these chats? And it was your name the whole time. So
Yeah.
yeah, because my brain is still clearly not processing everything as it needs to. No, today is a lot better than yesterday. Yesterday I was in and out of sleep like since late afternoon, early evening. It probably didn't help. I woke up today. I don't know what time it was 5 something, and I couldn't go back to sleep. Now that sounds like, oh, of course you should wake up that early for work. But when you're used to waking up at like 9 or 8, or God forbid sometimes after that, if I have a late meeting, being up at like 5 o'clock, I was like, oh, this is happening. So hopefully I don't crash out anytime soon. But I think I'm like low key running on fumes from the food that I did not eat. That's another thing, folks. Eat well, eat good food, and that keeps you beautiful. I've eaten more junk than I would like to admit. The last week was a little bit more balanced because I was at the conference and I went to like some restaurants nearby with some friends who are in town. But I'm even thinking about this Chick-fil-A sitting next to me, and I'm like, well, I guess that's the healthier version of fast food, but it's still not great. And the weight thing is its own thing, and that's not even like the main part of what I'm saying, but like what you eat in the oils and the other stuff. People talk about how it can cause breakouts or just you have less energy and then you don't glow as much, I guess. Like if you have more energy, that radiance also can contribute to beauty. So if we're making it directly related to the topic of cost of beauty, I would say what you put in your body, that's a big cost. Having access to healthier foods, of course, exercise. So again, it's not just about physically the weight, but just you having that kind of like physique or just the energy. Because like if you're always lethargic or just, I guess your mood's not as up, it's not seen as beautiful. I mean, these are all relative things and societal things, but if we're thinking about what's going to put you on the cover of a magazine, outside of even just like the physical, there's kind of like that radiance. And it's like, man, people though be paying for good diets, probably like personal trainers working out, maybe even things with like mindfulness, right? I mean, you can find a lot of resources for free, but you're taking time to sort of get yourself in a good space to have like a well-rounded picture, not just kind of like and I guess you could just do some stuff for the gram, post the nice pictures, but then other parts of life you're not necessarily working on. I don't know, it's a little I'm kind of workshopping this as I'm going, but I feel like
I do like where you're going at, Toby, with
Yes.
like Instagram, and also like how much it costs to like to eat, to look good, to have like that ideal diet in order to get that ideal body. Like that costs a lot. That's like a lot of those people like on Instagram probably have like someone who buys that food for them. Especially celebrities, like absolutely celebrities, but like I wouldn't be surprised if influencers to an extent kind of pay somebody to probably go grocery shopping for them because they probably have enough money to like outsource that time, whereas like they could spend more time working out or sleeping or taking care of themselves in some other fashion, whereas like the average person just doesn't have that kind of those kinds of resources. Like, yeah, we all you know we all can get like an Instacart account or what have you, but like it's a lot different, because like Instacart's very expensive. I don't know about you, but I always found it to be very expensive, during the pandemic. But to get like the right kind of foods, to get like the right kind of like supplements too.
Mm.
There's always like a controversy when it comes to supplements, like if that's, vitamins, protein, or like whatever is like if that's like really necessary. Um, I've been hearing now like eat a gram of protein for every pound of weight that you have. And I'm like, that's a lot of protein. Like, you want me to eat that a day?
Mm.
Like, it's like, how many like chicken breasts do I need to just like scarf down? And then like the protein, like I just don't see how that's realistic. Maybe if I weighed like 25 pounds, I could do that, but no, like that's insane. But like, it is crazy how like, on Instagram, at least maybe like my side of the algorithms, I don't know about how everybody else's Instagram or social medias look like, but when it comes to especially like Black women, because I was following a lot of them when I was, seeing my personal trainer and whatnot. And and like trying to find somebody who has my similar body shape, and someone who is like also pretty fit, but like it was hard to just find someone who looked like this wasn't their whole life. And I understand, like, Instagram in a way is kind of like YouTube, where you have to only have like one sort of thing.
Mm.
If that makes your Instagram is only like one topic. It's only one subject matter in order to gain a following and get a lot of views and
I see.
possibly like sponsorships. Like like for example, for like YouTube, if your focus is just tech reviews and that's all you do for that channel, then the algorithms will work in your favor. And I feel like that's sort of the same thing with Instagram from just what I'm seeing. I could be totally wrong, but I don't really. Instagram isn't really like TikTok, where you can kind of just talk about whatever on TikTok and you just need like one account. But once again, I could be wrong with how I'm viewing things. So like, I don't know. I guess like long story short, it's hard to find just like a fit person who isn't like ridiculously fit to the point that you might think they're on steroids or some sort of um like enhancement drug, and they're just sort of living a normal life.
So no, that's an interesting point. Yeah, and that's very well tied in. Like, I think with Instagram, you're actually pretty spot on, because I do notice that a lot of pages. I mean, some people do post whatever they want, and it's actually kind of like, it's not like they post things and the things do well, but they're not like these are personal pages where people might post fitness, and they might post other things. You might see regular pictures, or you might see reels with the fitness. But oftentimes what I do see is that people will have those separate pages in their bio. So even if they're not like super famous with a link tree, but you'll see like, hey, this is like my, I don't know, a page for, it could be my photography page, or this is like my art page. This is my fitness page. Fitness is probably one of the single biggest ones I've seen for men and women.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of it, and I'm like, yeah, like I remember just seeing a bunch of people. I think especially women, yeah, they'll have a fitness page. They might, some people will have like their own business, so it'll be like, this is my business page. It might be a realtor page. So I do think that people often do specialize with their Instagrams, and they do create other pages when they need to focus on that thing. Um, and those pages usually are a lot smaller. Like you might have, if you have over 1,000 followers on your Instagram, you might only have like 100 or 200 on your smaller page, or however it scales. So it's a little bit more focused. I mean, sometimes it's the opposite. You have a personal page, then if fitness is the big thing you're doing, then you have a fitness page that might actually have closer to 10K or even over 10K, and maybe you're in a few thousand. So sometimes it's interesting like that. And I know that I would see people's personal pages with like the check-in. Check-in was, people still do it, but I remember seeing it like a decade ago. I was on Snapchat a lot, but I would really see it on Instagram where people would tag people in the stories. This is before Instagram even had posts. So Instagram had stories. So this actually had to have been closer to 17, because Instagram bit off Snapchat sometime, I'm pretty sure post 2016, because that's when I graduated college. And I remember a lot of things were shifting very rapidly around that time. Not least of all politics. But I remember people would often post on Instagram, Snap first because that was the popular place, but Instagram too. People would post stories of like the check-ins where it was like, I'm gonna put 5 or 10 people as accountability, and I'm at the gym working out, and then you see everyone like resharing it. So this might have been before Instagram formally let you reshare when people tagged you in stories, but they would like screenshot it and then tag them, and however they used to do it. Even Snap didn't have that refined of a feature. So it was kind of the same thing. You see screenshots of screenshots of people who tagged, and you had to kind of parse out, okay, this is who actually posted this, and you could see all the people in the check-in. And so that was a big thing where regular people were trying to like not even just flex for themselves, but really like encourage other people to do it. So I thought that was like a good productive use of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, what you're saying though, like, is valid, like in terms of you don't always see people posting unless they're like a dedicated page. Like some people will alternate like regular posts with like fitness posts, and maybe they'll be at like the park and doing activities. Some people will post more conversational type things. It's a little harder, but some people might do like conversational type videos. But I feel like Instagram, everything blends together and it kind of gets all lost. Like, I mean, you have segments now with like reels. You had IGTV, then that became videos. Now I think everything's just a reel. So they kind of collapsed back into reels anyway. And so it can be a bit hard to find out what is what, especially because sometimes you can put an image overlaid over a reel. And when you open it, then it's like not even what the image was showing. So maybe you don't even know that that was a fitness thing. So it is interesting, like what people kind of choose to showcase. Sometimes though, people will put like thirst trap-esque things, and then the video will be something else. Maybe it'll be something of them cooking, or it'll be something of them traveling. But they'll have like a nice little money shot of like, you know, them looking good at the beach or something. And so I don't know. It is interesting how social media. Obviously, we talk about how like social media can influence beauty standards, but also just like what people choose to share. I saw one person recently saying like summer body loaded, or like the summer body's already here. Like basically they posted something earlier in the year, maybe March, April, May, and they're like, this body is the same body you're gonna get during summer. So I feel like some people will like kind of be very positive with like, listen, like they you know, are very self, you know, positive, and aren't necessarily trying to show like an unrealistic beauty standard. Not to say that everyone who's showing nice pictures of themselves is showing the unrealistic thing, but it's easier to show kind of the good than what's quote unquote regular. So sometimes, you know, I think people in some ways might, I know people talk a lot about like how everything is a little bit too like out of reach, or I think if you're an influencer, sure. But I think a lot of regular people, even like influencer lights, like people who kind of do have high thousands of followers, I think some of them do show like relatively regular pictures. Like they do look good, they look nice, but like you see more like people with either whether it's natural hair or like, you know, curves or whatever. And so now another topic though is more about the cost of all that. So that's kind of the other good point, is even if people are showing more natural stuff, I mean, there might still be some cost for some journey. Like some people show their fitness journey, and that probably isn't costing nothing. Though people do find creative ways so they're not breaking the bank. But the meal prep stuff, people cooking, you know, how much does that cost, especially if it's healthier. Again, people do like trying to show hacks and like things that are not too crazy expensive, especially if they're a little more relatable.
Right.
Or
But
even
like
if-
the hacks that they're even showing is like their kitchens are like, I don't know, $50,000 kitchen, like $500,000 kitchen. You know, it's like, is this like, it could be their home. Like, I know that a lot of people moved to Miami and like probably just got like a luxury apartment on like Miami Beach. And like they're probably taxing that, you know, writing that apartment, that rent off as like a tax because like you can if that's like part of your job. So I assume that's why people have like those videos of themselves like cleaning their apartment 11 times. It's like, yeah, this is how I clean my apartment with like the blah 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 and like, you know, and it's like the apartment is clean already, but they're cleaning it again for content. But I mean, like all of that, like with like the camera, the kitchen is all of that is just like to sell to you. It makes you think like, oh man, I can't do that. I need this. I need a gas powered stove. I need like you know, like a marble cabinet. I need, you know, like I need a backdrop of Miami Beach. I need my windows to face Miami Beach. They're not doing that. When in reality, it's like your kitchen and everything is fine, but I don't know. I feel like it creates, at least from my experience, from like, because I used to follow a lot of these, especially, you know, once again, when I was seeing my personal trainer and I was trying to, you know, like get my ideal body. Not follow. Well, I was following. I still am following my old personal trainer, but more so like following these accounts. Clean the cleaning streaks.
Yep.
But yeah, like these profiles are really just like carefully curated, and it's just like another trap to fall into. You know, you follow these men, you know, like they're shirtless, they got 6 to 8 packs, and they're like, you know, like they're doing things that are in a way like a thirst trap for women. You know, like they're cleaning, they're cooking, you know, they're working out, and like they're very attractive. So you watch these, you look at these accounts, and then it's just like you try to look at other women, and you're like, oh man, I gotta look like her. I gotta look like her. I want a guy like him. I gotta look like her. And it's like, no, that's not true. It's like you just gotta look like how you want to look like. But it's hard when I guess like, you know, back to, you know, what we're talking about, it's like what society wants us to look like. You know, in a way, like kind of, you know, going back to hair, of course, we all know that like the whole like Eurocentric beauty standards and blah blah blah, this and that, like straight hair, lighter skin, blue eyes, or you know, lighter color eyes, or what have you. Thin. It seems like thinness is coming back. If y'all remember the 2000s, the early 2000s, it seems like, I don't know if thinness has ever really like fully gone away, at least maybe not among like white women. The comedian Eliza Schlesinger had a joke where she said, "You want to get so skinny that your friends are worried about you." And it's like it's a good joke. It's a solid joke that I never could quite relate. I guess because I'm not white. The super thinness, skinniness. I do not know if I've ever wanted to like be like that per se. But like there were like in college, you know, I definitely got like the freshman 15 and you know gained a lot of weight in college. But I didn't really notice that until like, I came back home and, you know, every Caribbean family member had to comment on that, including my mom. And I ended up losing the weight and, was like, all right, whatever. Ended up gaining the weight back later on. I've told Jill about my story about that all the time. Lost the weight again. I've gained I've gained maybe about 10, 15 pounds since I've stopped seeing my personal trainer and dislocated my shoulder. And I'm finally like getting back into like a slightly better routine. And like I'm just kind of like at a point in my life where it's like I do like how I look, but I don't mind like losing some weight, which I already want to anyway. But it was like pretty disheartening and like annoying when literally on my birthday, but that won't stop her. After lunch, because I had lunch with my mom and my sister, my mom like when I was leaving, my mom had to make a comment saying like, "Oh, looks like you've been losing weight. Like I got you some shorts, but it looks like you've been gaining some weight rather." And I was like, "Oh, here we go. Now you're gonna not stop talking about my weight gain until I lose the weight." But that's how Caribbean parents are. It's like there's nothing else to talk about. They have to talk about your looks. It's like whatever it is that you're working on, how your job is going, how like your life is, relationships, friendships. No, none of that matters. It's just nothing in your life. Yep.
It's tough.
Just the surface. It's like it's not even like you gain weight. Like is everything going on in it? Like what's going on? Is everything okay? Have you just been stressed out? Like life has been hard? Like nope.
Dang. It's interesting. I mean,
like I hope not. I mean, no offense. Like if you like just I don't want people to be stressed out about looking a certain way because they think they need to fit into some sort of societal standards. That's all. Like if you're thin, if you want to be thin, that's fine. Go for it. But
I should stand out. I've definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see your toes?
I'll drink some water to that one. Yes.
Now it's interesting, Rocky, because I know there was a TV show I was watching, and it's based out in like, what's it? They had part of it, I think, in Crenshaw, or no, I'm trying to remember. It was definitely South. Because the part was Beverly Hills, but in different parts of like, I think Crenshaw, it had to be Crenshaw. So I remember like they're talking about how like all the women here are like skinny, like the guy was like, it's like real skinny out here compared to Crenshaw, and I was like, interesting. I mean, I just was like, okay, it's probably just a SoCal type of vibe, California. I don't know, maybe just more health consciousness, even though it's not a walkable city at all. So I have no idea where people are like, I mean, you can walk anywhere, but like in terms of like functioning, you're not like able to like walk and bike around, transit around as much. So I'm kind of like, that's interesting, but that's a little overgeneralizing because you could live in any neighborhood, any suburb, and take a jog around your neighborhood. But the point is, it was like, oh, interesting. I guess this is just much skinnier. Maybe it's just the culture of everything, but it is kind of interesting, Rocky, that you mentioned. And granted, SoCal's big, of course, and you might not even be in the exact same part, but seeing that you're not necessarily seeing it coming out there where it is kind of like the stereotypical, like, beach area, I would say next to, of course, Miami, right? So you're either going to be in like Southeast or you're going to be Southwest. And I feel like those are like two of the really big areas where people just live, and especially in the West where surfing is a huge thing, more so than you would see on the East Coast. So it is interesting that it's not necessarily, I mean, granted, it's like your perspective, but I feel like anyone here in this chat you're like the weight of 1,000 people from a regular pool. Like who needs pools when we have the TMC chat? So I'm like, all right, you say that, that's perspective in that part of the world or the country. But that aside, I do think that I definitely have put on a little bit of weight. I mean, I was kind of trying to because I had always been like underweight for some while, and it had like, I don't know, it's gotten worse. I don't even know. Like there was a lot of factors happening, but I had lost like kind of a remarkable amount of weight. And I didn't realize I had lost so much until my family was pointing it out, end of 2022, early 2023. Excuse me. And so, I mean, I did gain back a lot of that weight. And I don't know. I feel like it wasn't really great because I was eating not the best food. I wasn't necessarily working out. So it wasn't like I was like doing super well-rounded things and then gaining it. But I also did take like protein shakes. So kind of on the supplement end. I actually have one of these nearby. There was like this protein shake. This is the only one I swear by. I tried others. Atkins milk chocolate delight. I'm not being sponsored. Promise.
Okay.
So I got this from Amazon. It was the first one I tried, but I cycled through like 2 others, and I was like, no, I still like this one the most. It's kind of the cleanest. I think some of the other ones are a bit like thicker, or one of them is actually a bit thinner, but I'm not a fan of that one really in the taste. But this one is just like really solid in my opinion. So I think also drinking that more regularly, which I kind of drank as a way of just getting a quick meal in the morning, that and granola bars, eating granola bars, take the meds I need to take, which I haven't been as consistent with at all, but but at least at that time I was a bit more. So I think just that all maybe it was helping, but I don't know what happened if it was after I was unemployed, but I feel like I wasn't eating more because of that. But end of the year, beginning of this, I think especially beginning of this year, I noticed a bit more systematic weight gain. And it's kind of interesting. It's like some people do like, a guy who has a little bit more meat on him. Some people like that kind of teddy bear type of vibe, someone who looks like it could bear hug you versus like if you're really skinny. But some people do like the Usain Bolt, really tall, really skinny look. So, I can't say exactly what worked for me, but I do know like a few friends commented. Well, one friend commented because we hadn't seen each other some months. She was like, "Oh yeah, you look like you have weight, put on weight," but she was like a healthy weight. And I was like, "Yeah." We saw each other more in like, a bit of like a nightlife outing. She was kind of with some people. I did meet there to see her too, but like she was kind of preoccupied, so we didn't get to talk as much about it. Now we did see each other this weekend, and we actually did chat a bit more, but I still feel like that topic never really came up as much. And I do think we can relate on it because she mentioned how she used to weigh a lot more, but she's really big in fitness. So she's lost quite a bit of weight, but she's also tall. Like, I don't know if she's quite taller than me, but sometimes it feels like it. And so I feel like that's kind of an interesting thing where she's remarked on it and how she's noticed such a difference with like her losing weight. And she just felt so like, she was just kind of saying how she felt a lot more unattractive and almost like a monster, like a whale. And I was like, dang, but I also only saw her pretty infrequently. So I guess I couldn't tell like her own weight changing, but now I can tell like, yeah, she definitely does look, slimmer, but it's like at the end of the day, whatever, like it's mostly about what the journey you're on. Do you feel good? Or you're working towards that? But it is kind of an interesting thing with being a guy where it's like, some people will remark on it in a good way. Like she was saying, you look like you gained weight. It was healthy weight. But when I actually lost a lot of weight in 2022, because I remember going to some party, it was either late 2022 or early 2023. And I saw this person who I hadn't seen in like almost a year. Someone who I used to see much more frequently, but somehow we just lost touch. Plus I moved out of that town in Massachusetts to another one, not that far away, but it was probably 25, 30 minutes away. And so seeing her in Boston, both of us lived further from Boston. So going to this party and happening to see each other was like such a random coincidence. But she was like, "Oh wow!" Like I saw her too, and she looked like she might have lost a little weight, but I wasn't gonna say that. I was just gonna say like, "Oh, you look nice." She had like a black kind of dress. And she first said to me, she was like, "Oh, you look good," and I was like, "Oh, thank you. You look good too." And I was like, it was interesting. I feel like we both kind of noticed that we both looked a little different. Though I don't know lose weight. I don't know if she was. But it's kind of interesting. Like I've seen people mention that like on, I don't know if you would say memes but posts where it's like, let's normalize not commenting on people's weight. Like if you lost weight, who knows if it was intentional, unless it's obvious that they have like a fitness page and they've been trying to lose it. Maybe they're not trying to lose it. Maybe they're sick. maybe it was like a thing they're self-conscious about. And I never take it personally, but it is interesting that like even without me trying to lose weight, I had lost it. I got a comment that I looked good, but then I gained a bunch of weight, which I guess was intentional to like, start gaining more weight. And then someone said it looked good. My actual good friend who lives here in the DMV now, but we met elsewhere. So it is kind of interesting how that in this case I wasn't intentionally trying to do it, so I didn't like have a cost. I guess the protein shakes, but that wasn't really a purely weight thing. That was just like a can I sustain myself without cooking breakfast type of thing. And actually take the stuff I need to take. But it just the perception of what is beautiful is interesting because you might do something without necessarily putting a cost towards it, and then it will look good, or the eye of the beholder, I guess. It'll look good. So I was a little over the place, but I just kind of remembered that, and I like low key thought of it because of the comment about being able to see over your toes, and I'm like, yeah, I actually have been gaining weight, and my gut sometimes will come out, but it never stays too crazy. Like it will be there after eating particularly full meal or something, and then I'm like, it goes away. So I do get a little more self-conscious about it now because I never grew up really being like having a lot of, I don't know, like weight in general. But I did notice that the stomach was the one place where, okay, this will kind of like protrude, except the times when I did more weight training and more exercise overall. Then everything kind of slimmed out. But now I kind of notice it, especially when I do go on my eating binges. They're not really binges, but just when I notice I'm eating more regularly and I'm not really exercising to compensate, like I'll lose the weight anyway because I just lose. It's kind of ridiculous. And I'm not saying that as a brag. It's actually kind of weird, especially if I'm trying to stay up in a certain range and I don't stay up there. But the side effect is that weight kind of all goes down to the, I guess I'm not seeing my toes today. I mean, not literally. It's definitely not like that. But I kind of look and I'm like, I guess this is what it would be like if I really did decide to go all out and just binge eat. I could start to get to that point where you literally can't see past. But some people don't really care. Like they'll still look great. They'll still be a model. You'll kind of be well-rounded elsewhere. You can still like do what you need to do. I would say with your hair or beard. If you don't grow a lot of hair, you can still get your beard. Okay, I guess not everyone has that. There's different ways that you can kind of make yourself look attractive elsewhere, and that will definitely take more cost spending if you kind of don't have the physique or other things, but you can still dress well. You can have the hygiene and the grooming to kind of offset, but don't mind me. He's tall and it's I look that down. Oh, I don't even know if I would. I feel like she's someone who, as funny, she's actually talked to me about like, like I really love you, and like you've been someone who's never like tried to hit on me or anything like that. And she'll talk about guys that she talks to. So that's kind of like an interesting dynamic to broach into. And for the most part, I've not like even looked into that. But I will admit that we did see each other more this past weekend than normal, and I was like, that's kind of cool. But I appreciate the vote of confidence, Rocky. I'm just out here chilling. So don't mind me. Chilling isn't even like co-activities. I'm really like super, super chilling. But hey, the year's not over yet. Shoot, the summer's not technically even over yet. In fact, you need a 12-man fireman to. Oh no, I'm definitely not fat. Like I'm still like really like it's actually funny because I've been going to all these events. I've been in certain areas that are more crowded, not always clubs, but just like I've had to maneuver certain places. Or even like when I'm outside and if there's like crowds of people. Well, I guess I don't see that many because I don't really go to DC a lot when it's like crowded on the streets. But I didn't know, like there are times where I'm like trying to move about. Maybe I'm leaving the venue, I'm trying to like slide between people, and I'm like, thank God I'm actually like skinny. Like even with whatever weight gain, it literally has not affected like the actual, I would say, mass. Like I still have the muscle mass or whatever. Like I still can slide my way places. My hips have not started bulging out. Like it's nothing like that. And so I'm like, this is kind of great. I always remember being a kid and being able to like slide in between cars in the parking lot or fences or whatever. And it was pretty great. And I feel like I could still mostly do that because I do like to be able to maneuver. I really hate being stuck. I don't push past people, but I don't really need to either because I can move kind of gracefully and I can be very self-aware in a 3D I mean, we obviously all live in 3D, but like when I'm really like trying to get somewhere and trying to like have people not bump into me and stuff, it's actually kind of a blessing. So definitely, I definitely take that that I'm not fat. Like I'm not. It's weird. Like I sometimes get like self-conscious of my place, like just in the 3D space, but I can usually maneuver pretty well physically because I just really don't try to bump into people, have people bump into me. I can be very self-conscious about feeling like I need to be out of the way. And so I think I would actually notice that a lot. If I was significantly bigger, I'd be like, oh my God, like, you know, not even from like how I look, but just like physically my place and places, I would notice that. And so even if people thought I was attractive, I would probably start to like have some self thoughts more about that and then want to take some action. But no, it's all cool. What if you have big feet? Hey, I appreciate that.
There you go. Um, one thing that you have brought up, Toby, which I think is very key or crucial, is the fact of the matter that sometimes, and I think you're hitting at this too, that sometimes we allow social media and society to dictate how we ought to look and not necessarily embrace our true selves, you know. And and even then, I think Tor, you were saying that I look athletic. He said I look fit. Like I'm in that weird stage where it's like I'm like a fit, athletic dad bod, where it's if I can go run, I'm fine. I'm not gonna just
Mm.
like stop and pass on you. But I can go run. I can play football, play basketball, do all of the um, hard extracurricular stuff, and still be able to kind of catch my breath, to be able to go back at it and do it again for X amount of time, and without having to take a breaks, like long breaks in between time. Like I'm, that's pretty much where I'm at, and it's like I've kind of been this same weight area since I pretty much graduated high school. We granted, I think this past year, the beginning of this year, was probably the most I've weighed in years. I think I pushed like 205. I pushed 205. And to me, that was it. I'm like, yeah, no, gotta bring that down. So when um when I went to go see my doctor about a couple weeks ago, and my weight dropped from 205 to 193, I'm like, I'm good. I'm really good because I got a good friend who streams. He's a um, he's a he's a teacher at elementary school, somewhere down south. He's an elementary school teacher, but he also works out. He coaches basketball and football, like me, but just the football portion, not the basketball portion. And he has his own little workout routine and regimen and everything else. And so he had asked me one day. He was like, "Man," he was like, "I'm probably one of the fittest streamers on that's live right now." And I told him like, "Well, I could probably give you a run for your money." He said, "No, you can't, man." He was like, "No, you can't." I'm like, "I probably can. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, I may not be as fit as you. Like, I may not have like the chiseled chest, the arms, the legs, and the six pack. I may not have that, but I got that stamina. Like, you think you can outbeat me? Nah, I'll get you." And so he kind of laughed about it and everything else. He said, "You think so?" I'm like, dude, like I'm a football player, and I really haven't changed a whole lot. Even if I were to drop down to like my ideal weight range to be like 180, 185, dude, just know you're getting cooked easy. And so he was like, all right, cool, cool. And
Yeah.
and even then, like a lot of times when I go out with my kids and whatnot, they always get the notion that I'm either their brother and not their dad, which I've heard multiple times. Oh, it's hilarious. 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 Like I'll go with my daughter when like case in point, I took her to the hospital to get her fingernail checked out. And the receptionist like, oh, is this your brother? She looked at me, I looked at her like, you think I'm her brother? She was like, yeah. I'm like, no, I'm her dad. And she kind of looked at me like, wait, what? Like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm her dad. And she's like, well, what's her date of birth? And I give her date of birth. I'm like, yeah, she's this old. Da, da, da. Like, what else do you need me? Like, what else do you need me to say? And she's like, okay. She's like, because you look very young. I'm like, oh, don't worry. You should see my oldest. A lot of people think that me and him are actual brothers. And she kind of had this look like, for real? Even one time, I was at when my son was a freshman in high school, dropped him off and whatnot. I came in and really didn't know where I was going because they're going through construction. And so I'm looking for like the office. I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for the office in the third. And one of the security guards kind of pulled me aside, like, who are you? I'm like, oh, my son goes here. Like, wait, you have a kid? Yeah, he's a freshman in high school. Dude, have we not known any better? We thought that you were one of the students. Funny enough, I joked my kid, I'm like, dude, you do realize like I could blend in with a lot of your classmates and they would have never noticed. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, well, one of the security guards thought that I was a student that went here until I said my kid goes here. And then it's kind of was like, kid you not, get the weirdest compliments. And even then, if I'm out with me, the missus, and the kids, if we're all out, like they will look at her as the mama, and me and the kids are like, her children. I get a laugh out of it every time. I'm like, oh, I'm your child. Like, look at me like, no, you're not. You're my husband. Like, well, according to him, I'm your child. So I ain't trying to say nothing, but just know black don't crack.
And I remember because that sounds like you're talking about the school, the high school, right? Or because I remember one time you mentioned like when you were on a college visit, someone thought that you. First of all, I thought that's what you were saying at first, but then I was like, oh wait, this is like the actual school your son goes to now. So I'm like, wow, it doesn't matter what level, university, high school, you're out here blending in.
I'm telling you, yes.
I could probably get away with being a early like undergrad student. I don't know about high school. That's a little wild, but I could definitely get away with some youthful undergrad. Like I could show my ID at a college party and be like, "Hi guys, I just started here." Maybe not 18, but yeah.
Well, I'll put it to you guys like this: like if you guys, because my senior photo is on my Facebook account. If you guys want to go look it up, you're more than welcome to do so. Like a lot of my high school classmates, they will say this much: like I have not changed from my senior photo up until now. I have not changed whatsoever. Like I pretty much look the same. The only difference is like all of this, all that I grew with, all that I grew with. Other than that, everything else No, it's pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. Probably got a little bit thicker over the years, but other than that, still the same. Still the same. All right, cool. At least I'm doing something right. I don't know what, but I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
Drinking their water, maybe mind your business, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. That too. That too.
Not tolerating any foolishness. I feel like you're doing your thing, man.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I could ever be mistaken for like a high school student, but I had to do something at um, FIU, Florida International University, down in Miami, and I needed help finding a room. And this guy was like, "Oh, are you a student?" And I was so flattered. I was so unbelievably flattered. I was like, "You think I'm a student?" It's like, oh man, it just kind of makes me feel like, I mean, I feel like FIU, you know, and FAU definitely get like students who are older anyway. Sometimes, people who go back to college or who never finished their degree or never got a chance to, go for their degree or just want to do something completely different in life, go back to college. The FIU, I would say, has like a lot of them. But I guess I just sort of took it as like I'm just a student. It's interesting being called a student. Makes me feel, because there's only like a certain like portion in your life where you're a student. You can always call yourself like you're like a forever student, student of life. But being a student of life doesn't give you like an ID and a discount on like Amazon Prime, So unfortunately. But yeah.
Fair.
But with that said, y'all, it is damn near 11 o'clock at night. It is at least Eastern time, wherever y'all are. It's probably different, especially toward Jacobson, Polar Nights, probably like 3 or 4 in the morning. And we really appreciate you.
Yes.
Hanging out with us. Everybody all over the world. We love y'all. We really appreciate y'all coming out and hanging out with us. We always really appreciate it. But who was a student of the game?
I see you, Rocky.
That is very true. But on that note, we are gonna be wrapping it up.
Yes.
First, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for coming out and hanging out with us. Please join us next 2 weeks. I was gonna say next Thursday for some reason. I don't know why I have that. I don't know what's going on next Thursday. Probably something I gotta care about.
It would be like that.
Yeah. Sharing the Discord again, of course. Join us in the Discord. You can always talk to us. Let us know of any topic ideas. Tonight's topic idea was, suggested to us by our very own, Rocky, who you see here in the comments. He's also very active in the Discord as well. And so he's just been supporting us for many years. And we love him and appreciate him. And because I think he's the only one watching, we love him the most. we could say that. Yes.
Oh man, take care, Tor.
Yes, it was great seeing you, Polar Nights.
Yes, yes, very much.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh man.
All right. thank you all so much for joining us. And with that said, we'll see y'all in September.
Yes.
New month.
Happy new month early.
Yeah.
Oops.
I don't know if it's gonna.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was waiting for the thing to go up on your end.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes, Tor. Bye.
Yes.
Yep, and the fireworks.
I know.
This thing
Love
is
it.
Double
all over.
double thumbs up. The one thumbs up, I think, just like a little bubble comes up. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. The thumbs down, it's the same thing, but double thumbs down, it's like rainy. Let me show you.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh
see?
my gosh. That's
Yes,
dark.
ma'am.
I know. On that note, we love y'all. We'll see y'all in the next stream. And of course, always join us in the Discord.
Yes. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.